So today's film was a film I first heard about when I did A Year with Women a few years ago. But it wasn't streaming anywhere, so I finally tracked it down um, at Videodrome. Unfortunately, I did some research, and it seems to me that it was never released on a widescreen format, so the only way you can watch it is really not great full frame DVD, which is like full screen, no full screen. Um, the film is great though, so it deserves much better treatment than it got. It premiered, I believe, at the Sundance Film Festival and played at several other film festivals, including the Torino Film Festival, where it won the Best Feature Film Prize, and the Toronto Film Festival, many, many other festivals. This is Jill Sprecher's feature film debut, Clockwatchers. She co-wrote it with her sister. The two of them had worked as office temps throughout the 90s, and that served as the inspiration for this film. It follows four office temp workers, played by Toni Collette in basically the lead, Parker Posey in the almost co-lead, Lisa Kudrow, and Alanna Ubach. The rest of the office is filled out by Helen Fitzgerald, Stanley DeStancis, Jamie Kennedy, David James Elliott, Kevin Cooney, Deborah Jo Rupp, and the one and only Bob Balaban. It is a great cast. Everybody is so good in this film. I know that of the 90s office comedies, the one that's always remembered and talked about is Office Space. But I feel like this is a much richer, more interesting, more true to life office comedy. Um, it's interesting to watch it 21 years after it was released, because there are so many interesting things that would not happen in today's office landscape. For one, they're all typing still on typewriters. Typewriters. Two, there's all these moments, and there's some fun little montages where they're all bored and painting their nails with nail polish or with whiteout, and trying to figure out how to fill the day and look busy when they don't have any work to do. And as we know now, in the era of cell phones and social media, we'd be on our cell phone checking social media. We'd be on our computer checking social media. We'd find ways to seem busy. So that's interesting, and I think some people would call that dated. But what I like about film is that it's not dated so much as an artifact or a time machine almost of what it was like. And 1997, when this film came out, is sort of right when computers were really taking over all the offices. It's the beginning of the dot-com boom. Slowly but surely, all of the jobs that they're doing would be replaced by people who knew how to use computers. And a lot of what they did, a lot of the work that these temps are doing would be phased out anyways, because it would be more efficient on a computer, and you could do more on a computer, and there'd be less people doing more. So, there's a giant file, room that probably wouldn't exist anymore also. So anyways, the film follows mostly Iris. She's the new temp. She comes in. They become friends, the four of them. Margaret, played by Parker Posey, Paula, played by Lisa Kudrow, and Jane, played by Alanna Ubach. And they commiserate over their lack of prospects, over their hatred of this job, over their boredom, over their life, the fact that their lives aren't going anywhere and or where they want it to go. Things go awry when first someone gets hired for a position that the Parker Posey character was hoping to get out of nowhere. Then thievery starts happening and people's personal items go missing. And then one of their executives dies. After all of that, their idyllic, 9 to 5 happy hour, ride the bus together existence starts to crumble. Friendships start to fall apart. Everyone turns on each other, and you have to get to the end of the film to see if anyone will mend any of these bridges that they may have burned. Um, it's very much a Gen X 90s slacker comedy, but a much more surreal one than you would expect. There's definitely flights of fancy in this film. You can tell that director and co-writer is it Jill, right? Sprecher, studied philosophy. There's a lot of that sort of sprinkled throughout the film. It's very existential. It kind of feels almost like an existential piece of drama from the 40s or 50s set in an office where things get more and more surreal, and the universe is set by its own strange rules. It's also beautifully shot, beautifully framed. There's some moments of just um, utter perfection in the framing of certain shots and world building through art direction that is fantastic. So I recommend the film as the film. I do not recommend the DVD release of the film. It was put out by the Sundance Channel, actually, because it was a Sundance film, and the DVD version I saw anyways. And it was full screen, and that is just, I can't even understand that. So, hopefully, and maybe somewhere there's a correct aspect ratio master of this film floating around somewhere, and you can find that. But I recommend seeking it out. You just have to put up with the full frame, I guess. This is Jill Sprecher's Clockwatchers, co-written by Jill and Karen Sprecher, and I highly recommend it.